Look, forget the forecasts. Forget what you're hearing on the news. There's a signal flashing across the global financial system right now, a signal that almost everyone is completely misreading. And I need to be crystal clear, this isn't a prediction. This is a real-time event. It is already in motion. Okay, hold on. An unprecedented signal? I'm looking at the S&P 500, and it's hitting all-time highs. To me, that's the very definition of a strong market. So how can you possibly claim the system is on the verge of collapse when the main index is literally soaring? It just doesn't add up.
Because that is the signal. What the mainstream narrative is completely ignoring is that it's not just stocks. Safe haven assets, things like silver, are rising right alongside them. And historically, these two things, they move in opposite directions. When they both go up at the same time, it is not a sign of strength. It's a systemic fever. It's a flashing red light that capital is fleeing the currency itself.
And that fever, it starts deep in the foundation of the economy. Right now, as we speak, the commercial credit market is fracturing. This is the hidden rot that nobody wants to talk about, commercial real estate. And let me be absolutely clear about this. The fuse isn't about to be lit. The fuse is lit. The commercial real estate collapse isn't some future headline waiting to happen. It's happening right now, hidden behind a thick curtain of accounting tricks. This table right here, this shows you exactly how they're hiding the rot. Just look at the numbers. On the official bank statements, a loan is marked performing, but in market reality, it's in default. They're reporting 85% occupancy when the actual rate on the ground is closer to 50%. An asset they have valued at $100 million on their books would maybe get $20 million in a fire sale. This is a system-wide accounting scheme. They call it extend and pretend, and it is masking trillions in losses. Pennies on the dollar. I mean, these aren't projections. These are actual sales happening right now. How is this level of systemic fraud not the #1 headline on every single financial news network? How is this being kept quiet? Because the entire narrative is being controlled. To understand how a collapsing real estate market and a soaring stock market can exist at the exact same time, you have to understand the unifying theory. We are no longer in a bubble. We have entered what is technically known as a hyperbubble. And a hyperbubble is a very specific, very dangerous event. This isn't about irrational exuberance. It's not about hype or excitement. It is a flight to safety out of a failing currency and into any hard asset you can possibly get your hands on. People aren't buying assets, they're escaping the dollar. So here's the crucial point to understand. In a normal bubble, right, greed drives one asset class to the moon. But in a hyperbubble, it's fear. It's currency distrust that drives all asset classes up in nominal dollar terms. The end game here isn't a market crash. It is a currency reset. People aren't buying stocks because they believe in corporate earnings. They're buying them because they believe in them more than the paper in their own wallet. Okay. That framework actually makes sense of the contradictions. So, all right, if we are in a hyperbubble, what's the canary in the coal mine? What is the single most urgent real-time indicator we should all be watching? $53. That's the number. That is the number everyone needs to be watching. It's the price of silver. But listen, this is not a trader's price target. This is the system's tripwire. When silver breaks and, more importantly, holds above $53, it's the final verdict on the stability of the entire currency. And this price matters for 4 critical reasons. First, it represents a global monetary vote of no confidence in the central banking system. Second, it signals a severe physical shortage on the COMEX. That's the main metals exchange. They simply won't have the physical silver to deliver. Third, it means the paper price manipulation scheme that's been going on for decades is finally failing. And fourth, look at the volatility. The 3 to 4% daily swings we're seeing, that is the classic signature of a market breaking its leash. A monetary vote. So the fuse in commercial real estate is the hidden rot, and the surge in silver past $53 is the visible alarm bell going off for the whole world. Wow, the hyperbubble theory connects them. It's all pointing to the exact same conclusion. Exactly. And this brings us to the most critical point of all. The time for analysis, it's over. The window to reposition yourself is closing, and it's closing with alarming speed. The smart money, family offices, sovereign wealth funds, the people who see the real numbers behind the scenes, they are no longer playing the stock market game. they are systematically getting out of paper assets and moving into tangible physical stores of value, things that exist outside the banking system.
So this is the playbook then. Given everything we've just laid out, what is the single most urgent takeaway for anyone listening to this right now?
The deadline is not a suggestion. It is a mathematical certainty based on the current rate of decay. By December 2025, the currency reset will be locked in. The final verdict is coming, and the game will be over.